Alright, willkommen alle. Wir haben ein German Band. Ist ist hier mit us. Willkommen, wie geht's? Was hast du am Wochenende gemacht?
Sehr gut.
Okay, good. Yeah. So actually from Manchester, Ist Ist is joining us. I do like that you know some Deutsch.
Ambition.
Even though I've been told not to say sehr gut because it means you're good in bed if you tell someone that.
That is correct.
Yes, yeah. So also good in bed. What brings y'all to South by Southwest? Is there like something going on musically? Anything fun?
Yeah, we played our first show on Monday. So we played down at the British Music Embassy. Down at, I think that's on 4th Street, Cedar Street Courtyard. We've got a day off today, and then we're going to go and play a couple more shows.
Do it again
Thursday
through the weekend.
Yeah.
Is it exciting being back out doing this, getting the nice weather? Like, are you happy to be here?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's what I got to make sure first.
I mean, I'd be happy just coming for the weather, given we're from Manchester.
Yeah.
And not playing any shows. I'd quite happily just come here.
Yeah, I could
weather.
tell that you were all enjoying the weather because for about 99% of the time that you have been in this space, you've been outside
Yes.
In the
basking
sun.
like
Yes.
lizards out
And
there.
Yes.
Emily did bring sunscreen. We had a band in from Liverpool yesterday, and they said y'all suck. By the way, they said Manchester sucks. They said City sucks. United sucks.
Yeah,
You go. I love that you said you weren't
That's what
gonna.
I say.
You said you weren't gonna cuss, so I didn't have to edit too much. But thank you. Yes,
That is the one pass.
I say that, but then you didn't say you were going to mention Liverpool either.
Have you ever been to Liverpool?
Fair enough. We call it liver stool here because it's just poop. But y'all are here. Emily's got some sunscreen, and I know a lot of acts during the pandemic really thought they were going to concentrate on doing an album, writing together, and then just played Xbox. But y'all did that. You worked on an album during COVID, right? And kind of found something good out of it.
Yeah. So we announced our debut album, Architecture. We announced it in January 2020.
Good timing.
Oh, wow, perfect.
But at the time, I don't know if it was different in the US, but at the time, COVID was kind of like a minor news story, sort of end of January in the UK. It wasn't really on many people's radar. And that came out on the 1st of May 2020, which was like peak sort of like first wave of COVID. And we stuck with it. You know, from like a logistical perspective, we wanted to put that album out there. We've been a band since 2015, late 2014, and we wanted to put that album out there because there wasn't much good going on in the world really at that time.
And it had been years of work to get to that point.
Years of work to do it. So we put that out in 2020, but we could never tour it, and we kind of knew that at the time. We kind of stuck with it. We're like, we're not going to be able to tour it, but we'll postpone the tours and we'll get out there. Then we wrote another one.
You could have done what a lot of stand-up comics did and just do Zoom touring.
Yeah, but I mean, I imagine anyone who's going to watch this on YouTube will go, these guys will be no good on Zoom or something. So.
Sure.
Aw,
So
no.
anyhow, before I interrupted you started writing. You went right back to it.
Yeah, we never really stopped because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of our songs that we do would be kind of in the rehearsal room songs, but we'd always had that element where Adam and Matt would kind of write a lot and sort of do a lot of things back and forth and then bring that into the rehearsal room anyway. So the whole sort of recording and writing remotely never really changed that much.
Yeah.
So the only sort of problem with COVID really was that for a couple of months that was the only way to do it rather than it was interspersed with rehearsals and other things. But yeah, we never really stopped during COVID, and then we put another album out and finally the world kind of went back to being a bit normal and we could...
And yeah, how's it feel coming out now with 2 albums behind you? Are you just excited to be doing this for a year straight now? Like finally, like we get to do it.
I think the frustrating thing for me really was when we get ideas together on Dropbox or whatever. You know, when you make some different ideas, you send them around to the lads and everything, and then we can get into a room and like I always call it Ist-Istify them.
Yeah.
Justify them.
And we never got to do that, but now it's like we come out the back end of it, and I feel like we've sort of done all right out of it somehow. I feel like through that we've ended up with a lot of songs and a lot of ideas that are now being developed for like the 4th album, the 5th album, whatever, you know. So I think it's good to stay busy, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, that's good.
And I mean, I would say, just based on talking to all of you before we went on air, you all have great chemistry. You seem like you like each other. Is that right?
I mean, me and Joel are in love. You know. It's
yes, beautiful. Sorry, I'm sitting in between something. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to sit here. But no, off air, you were talking about how you two used to play in a band in high school, right? Like early days.
Much. Yeah.
And you were in the middle of telling me a story about being just going into somebody's house and playing when their parents weren't home and
nothing's off the record there, is it?
Yeah. I don't know who it was. I don't know who, you know. But are there any other great experiences from like those early days that
from the
the early days?
Well, I mean,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really sentimental, this, but
no.
So me and Andy played in bands when we were teenagers, and Joel was always like on this sort of Manchester scene, playing in other bands as well. So we sort of met from that, didn't you?
That's
really?
Right. That's true.
So like Drain Pipes and
Ruby Tuesday.
Loads of different bands that were.
Yep.
So we always used to cross paths all the time, and it's the interesting story that comes from it. I think it's interesting anyway. Is that I sort of quit music and was just messing about with synthesizers, really. And that was at the time when I was driving home from work one day, and I put on the radio, and I swear this is true, Joel's band was on the radio, and I didn't know it was Joel's band, and I listened to the drums, and I went, oh shit, that sounds like Joel, that. I swear, honestly.
That's a big compliment.
So I rang him and I asked him, I said, oh, is he there? And he's like, yeah, that's me. So I was like, stop playing that shit and come and start
come and do it with us.
That's pretty much how it went down. That is exactly how it went down.
Emily heard me on the radio
and then Andy, before in the old band, I met Andy because I was driving home from work again and couldn't find a bass player anywhere. Like I'd advertised and everything for a bass player. And I literally saw a guy walking down the street with a bass guitar on his back. I could only tell because it was sticking up higher than a guitar would stick up. And I was like, shit, I'm just going to pull over and ask this guy, like, what's going on, you know? Anyway, I wish that was actually Andy, which it wasn't. It was Andy's mate. And he said, no, I've got a band, but I know this guy who might be interested. It'd be a better story if it was actually him, but I'm not going to lie to you.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was another guy, wasn't
it? And then he turned up and I was like, yeah.
I'll edit that into your Wikipedia, and it's going to be your story. It's going to be an origin story.
Background section.
And then we found this guy.
I mean,
earlier today.
Just today.
Yeah, just on the street.
No, he's just an alternate, really.
Yeah,
So,
another dude from Manchester. It works.
Yeah, well, we sort of exhausted the three-piece thing, and we were like, we need to add synths and other stuff and that sort of stuff. And these two are like, oh, me and Matt work at a music shop together. And they were like, oh, you should get your guy Matt in. I'm like, I'm not getting that guy in.
Yeah.
He's a better drummer. He's a better drummer than me.
I bought, what do you call it? Moog over here, or Moog? Moog,
yeah.
Moog,
the
whatever.
Synthesizer.
I wanted one of them for ages, and they brought out this new one, and I went to Joel's shop to have a look, and Matt served me, and he was like, oh, I like this guy, you know. So I should get him in. He fought me on it for months, and now here he is.
And now?
Yeah, he came up to me like a broken man one day in work, and he was like, my band's split up, and I don't want to play drums anymore. And I'm like, oh, God, just join my band. And now he's still here.
That's how I met my girlfriend.
That's exactly how it happened.
Love it. Where can we?
It's like a sort of How I Met Your Mother kind of.
Yeah.
How we met the keyboard player.
It's like a sort of care in the community project, you know. Like.
Yeah. It's a lovely coming together story. Now it's come full circle. Where can we find you on the internet? What's the best place to send people to buy music, merch, follow you, stream you, all that fun stuff?
We're one of those bands who all our social media and all our website is all the same thing. So you don't have
no underscores, no dad. Thank you.
No nothing. No underscores.
Hold on.
No.
It's a revelation.
Got something for that.
ististmusic.com.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
Ist Music.
Ist Music. Facebook.
Pre-recorded.
Yeah.
www.
Yeah. Ist Music. Everything. Twitter. at Ist Ist Music, Instagram.
Someone
at
knows how
Ist
to
Ist
internet
Music.
and market. Love it. Ist Ist, give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Please check out
Thank you.
ististmusic.com.